Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Last Game Hunter, and I'm really happy that you are joining me today, because today we are going to look at the Peladn W04 5600H mini PC, and this guy is equipped with 16 gigs and a 512 NVMe. So, without further ado, let's get this guy unboxed. Let's take a look at this thing. A few things. Disclaimer, they did reach out, they did send it to me. The review is mine, so it's not a bought and paid for review. It is what I would call a AM4 platform, so it's a little older than some of the other units, but it's for a good reason, and that is, one, to cut costs, two, it's still very, very capable, and we're going to today open it up, look at the upgradability, what can be done, what can't be done, and then in the follow-up video, we will do some gaming on it, whether it be retro or some AAA titles. But for now, let's get it unboxed, let's see what we got, and let's see what it can do. Now, you notice the corner, of course, was a little bunched, but this is a very hard cardboard. So I'm not probably concerned about that. It's like the shoebox, really hard stuff. So the packing, it's got foam here too. The packing's really good, so I'm not really too worried about that. So we're greeted with the the manual, and sometimes it's good to look through it to actually understand what some things are if you're not familiar with it. And then we have the name and contact of toxic and harmful substances and blah blah blah. So I guess there's a thing here, and maybe it's because of certain states or whatever in the US, maybe that California thing, I don't know. We're here in Canada, so we don't normally have this issue. It's probably there as a disclaimer based on where it may be from. It's a fair size unit, which is nice to see. We're going to look at the contents first. We have a HDMI cable, a power cable for the power brick. The power brick, it's actually a fair sized brick. We'll get to all that later on. And of course, your date of build, manufacturing, which is kind of cool to see in there. And, oh, wow. Okay, so here's the bracket to put it on the wall. But what caught my attention, not these screws, but that's cool, is this little guy sitting at the bottom of the box. Now, what this is your SATA and a SATA cable that would go to the actual PC, which is actually phenomenal, because usually it's either in the computer or it doesn't exist, unless, of course, maybe you custom ordered it from the company. They're adding it in the box. Props on that one. Props on that one. Recently I did one, and the additional possibility of adding a SATA style was not available, even though it was equipped to do it on the board. This was not in there, and this was not part of the package. These guys included it in the package. Therefore, I'm giving them plus on that one. That's the woo factor. So, they've already impressed me here with this. Let's see the rest of this thing. And it's sad when I say older CPU and everything, because it's actually still pretty active. I mean, the AM4 platform still has new CPUs coming out. I'm very, very happy to see these machines still in service now, because it brings the price down. And I'm going to be honest with you, Intel does not have an answer for these yet. So, big time powerhouses for what they are, keeping the cost down. And of course, we have the Peladn logo right here. I keep mixing that up with an R for some reason. Maybe it's a whole dyslexic thing I don't know about yet. But that is A, and it's Peladn. I think that's how I'm going to say it. Yeah. So, one thing it says right here, I don't know if the camera's going to see that, but it says that this is a magnetic release, which means I should be able to just, yes, pull the lid off magnetically. That is something newer I'm seeing in a lot of minis nowadays. Now, what I'll look at, the wow factors right here. See, it still has the wow factor. In the front, we're greeted with the clear CMOS button, a headphone jack, USB Type-C, which I can't stress enough. I've had some Intel units, not even USB-C on the units. AMD seems to have them right up front and personal, and I like that. Two USB 3.1 or 3.2s right here, and your power button. On the side, you're greeted with some vents, of course, because cooling is very important. And, of course, the other side as well, and the back. The back, we are greeted with two USB Type-2s, HDMI, DisplayPort, power, and we have two LANs here covered. And we'll get into that, I guess, a little later on when I can understand or be able to read that little fine print that I can't see. At the bottom, of course, we are seeing the fan through the grill here, bringing in air, and the standoffs are a fair height, which means you're going to get some nice clearance to actually bring that cold air in from underneath, and it should not be a factor. Two screw holes here for your mounting bracket, and of course that is also to keep the unit off the wall, giving you space for your air. Okay, so off the hop, we're able to take this top off magnetically, so let's do that. Inside here, of course, we're greeted with a possibility of a 2.5 SATA drive or hard drive, whatever you choose, and the cable is included. 16 gigs of RAM, that is actually in the system as one DIMM. It would be in best interest down the road if you want to throw another one, or a couple 8s if you want to separate it, and that would give you your dual channel support and a little bit more performance. We have a nice heatsink put on the NVMe here, and it looks like the NVMe is actually heat sinking also the Wi-Fi card by the look of it. Therefore, this is dissipating for more than one device. Plugging in your external SATA connector would be right here, and it would be fairly simple. Just put it in, push the pin down, and mount your hard drive, plug it in, magnetically pop the top back on. Now, of course, this wouldn't be a upgradability or test if we didn't take off the bottom and see how the CPU is done, whether it is a soldered onto the board or not. And I would think that the 5600H, meaning laptop, would be soldered to the board. So I do not believe we're going to have CPU upgradability, which is very common in these units because most of them are based off laptop CPUs and GPUs. So I'm not thinking it's going to be, but we can undo it and see what happens. Okay, let's get this guy open. Should only be these 4 screws. I guess that was a warranty screw. I guess I just screwed my warranty. Me and my dad jokes.
Dad joke. Love it.
I mean, realistically, you wouldn't be opening the bottom part. I'm doing it for you, so you don't have to. Unless, of course, there is something that we can do here, which we will find out very soon. Okay, so now the back is off. We have the cooling system here, and I must say, I am very impressed with it. That is a very beefy cooler, the blower system. Nice and wide. I like how it's physically big instead of just like, it's got more chamber, I guess is what I'm looking for. So therefore, it's going to bring more air in and deliver more heat out. I like it. But I want to see the CPU, so we're going to have to remove this. Okay, so be careful of this, guys, because this is basically your seal between the fan and the cooler or the fins, and you don't want to have leak. So I'm just going to take this off nicely. Considering it's new, I shouldn't have an issue with the stickiness, and it should be okay to put it back on. Again, just doing this for you, my viewers. Okay, I don't think I'm going to need to unplug that, but here is the cooling system. So you can see that there is copper pipes and the aluminum or nickel plates. CMOS batteries right here, so it is replaceable, and it is your standard 2-pin, which I usually keep them on in stock anyway. But I mean, you won't have to worry about that for many years. But it is replaceable. It's nice to see that it's not soldered on, which I doubt we would see today. But hey, things happen. So this will be a soldered on chip, guys. I don't think I need to take this off any further. Why mess with the cooling compound the way it is? Because when I do my tests and do check thermals, I would rather see what it is factory than to mess with that right now. But you can comment below if you do want to see what the coolant is like, or the paste is like. I'm sure it's going to be some sort of a silver paste. Now, one thing I will say, and this is why I don't want to take it off right now, of course, is I like to review everything stock. So when I say that, I'm not going to be adding RAM, I'm not going to be adding SSDs or anything. How it is stock is how we're going to play with this. So I will do everyday browsing usage in the next video, and I will do some gaming like Batacera. Batacera will be on its own drive, but it's an SSD as well, but a slower SSD, but I'm sure this is going to just eat it up. And then we will do some gaming on its NVMe, so everything is on its own hardware, and that would be like a AAA title type thing. So here is your Peladn W04 with the AMD AM4 5600H, meaning mobile, okay? And that's what you're going to see in pretty much all of these. 16 gig with 512 gigs of RAM. And I will have links, of course, in the description if you're looking to have something like this, because I want to say something clear, and I don't want to underestimate what this is. This is actually a very, very capable machine spec-wise, on paper, right? You're seeing me use this the same as I'm using it. You see me unbox it, you see me take it apart. It is my first time looking at it. So, as you can tell. So, I'm not very good at wrapping things back up. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, there is no such thing as what I would call obsolete or older hardware versus what is out there. It's price variance, right? So this 5600H versus a 6500H and so on would only determine maybe not processing power at all, but different video on the APU or whatever the case may be. But also, as you're going up, think of it as different levels of the product variant. So you have a 6000 series, a 7000, or an 8000, 9000, or whatever. And those are going to, of course, climb with the prices. So a 5600H is going to be a pretty impressive, on paper, unit at a perfect price point. Then we would move up from there, and of course then the prices climb. So it all comes down to what you want to pay and where you want to fit. Peladn, of course, makes all of the different levels. This is my first time working with these guys. So far, I'm loving the build. One thing I forgot to mention is, guys, yes, this is plastic. It is a very durable feeling plastic. It doesn't feel cheap or anything, but it is plastic, not metal, okay? And I would expect that for cost cuts. That's not going to affect the unit in any which way or form. That just changes the aesthetic, okay? If it's linked or tightened any which way or fastened to the chassis of the unit, then I could say, okay, all right, it's going to be some sort of a heatsink, but it's not. And in most cases, 98%, they're not. And it's very, very little that you would see that. It's basically aesthetics. The more you pay, of course, the changes of the shell. That just comes with price tag. It has nothing to do with functionality. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the teardown of this unit. I think it's very well built. It has everything that I could want and use in a mini PC. And next video, we're going to put it to the test, and we're going to find out what it's like and what to expect. And do you need more? Do you need less? I mean, think about it. In the market, Intel's still selling like N100s. And AMD's price points are pretty much AM4, AM5, and so on. I'm pretty impressed right now. So thanks for watching. Game over.